Happy Saturday! Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. Today I have a book review. Yes, I finished another book. Half the World by Joe Abercrombie. This is book 2 in the Shattered Seas trilogy. This was published in 2015. Fantastic read. I really enjoyed this entry as well. This summary of this plot, you have Thorn Bathew, who was touched by Mother War, and you have Brand, who wants to be touched by Mother War in terms of being a warrior, but was more touched by Father Peace. And these two newer characters are presented and accompany some of the old characters from book 1. And so one of the main characters in book 1 is Father Yarvi. Yes, he's now a father with the ministry. And so he feels like Getland is going to be opposed by the High King and Grandmother Wexen of the ministry, and that they're gathering allies across the Shattered Seas to make a play on Getland. And so he thinks that Getland is on a course for war and doesn't have a lot of faith in King Uthal. King Uthal has been ill, and so he is wanting to challenge Grom Gilgorm for a duel for Vansterland, which has always kind of been opposed to Getland. And Father Yarvi is wanting to propose an alliance. And so with that being said, Father Yarvi goes and gets Rolf from book 1 and puts together a crew. And they're going to take Southwind, his ship, and they're going to sail it across the Shattered Seas and up the Divine River, going for allies across the south. And so the story takes place and starts with that. But yet you have these two younger, newer characters in Brand and Thorn who swear oaths to Father Yarvi and to Queen and King. And so Father Yarvi uses them kind of as tools and assets, and you find out about that as the story evolves. And so there's definitely a lot of treachery, there's revelation, and there's one heck of a duel. Some of the fighting scenes are really, really good in here. And you get to see kind of what the fate of Getland is going to be. Or do you when you read it? And so that's kind of the summary of the plot here. Definitely in a second book in a trilogy, this definitely moves the story along. I really enjoyed it, but we got some new characters and they were quite enjoyable. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I liked and probably get into some mild spoilers. But before I do, like I did the last video, I wanted to give you kind of some excerpts, my dislikes and my score up front, just in case, because I really feel like this is a trilogy that is definitely one of the ones for people that want to begin fantasy. So some of the experts were really good, and I can go into a ton of them. Like I said, the fight scenes are awesome. I could read some excerpts from the fight scenes that are really cool. But some of the really kind of the quotes I thought were really good is one of them was the queen talking to Thorn was like, "Fools boast of what they will do and heroes do it." Oh, that was really cool. And then you have one part, obviously there's a little bit of a romance between Bran and Thorn, and you kind of see that. That's not really spoiling anything, but he's mentioning when he's talking to Father Yarvi about that. He's like, you want a thing when you can't have it. When you get it, you suddenly sprout doubts, and then when you think you might lose it, you find that you want it worse than ever. And I thought that was really cool. Another time they're talking again kind of about relationship type things, and Bran's describing his relationship with Thorn, and he was talking about, I always thought of being together as the end of the work, and it turns out that's where the work starts. And I think that's pretty spot on to any relationship or marriage or anything like that. So in terms of dislikes, there was only one little section that I disliked in the middle as they're moving the plot along, the story along. They're carrying the ship, once they're in a river and they're trying to navigate to a certain location, they're out of the sea and in one of these tributary rivers, they have to haul the ship by hand. And so all the guys are lifting it and they're hauling it and they're camping out and doing all this as they're trying to make their way over a course of several weeks to another tributary to take them to where the next place is that they want to try to gain allies. And it got a little slow there, maybe like 25 pages worth. Then some things start happening, which made it very interesting. And so, but there's a little bit of a slow patch, maybe a couple chapters only, not a lot, but a little. And so that was one part that I disliked, probably the only part I disliked in this whole book. In terms of rating, I gave it a 4.5. It's a little down from the first book, but it's still really good, especially the ending and the battle I thought was really cool. So now I'm going to talk about some of the things I really liked, some of the characters, and probably get into some stuff that maybe would be spoilers. In terms of, obviously I touched on, Thorn. She is this young girl who's touched by Mother War. Her father was a shield for a king. And he is definitely one of the ones that Gilgorm carries around. He carries the pommels of swords around his neck, and he's no man can kill him and that kind of thing. And so her father was one of the pommels on his necklace. I thought that was really cool. Brand, obviously, like I touched on, there's definitely a relationship thing there with him and Thorn. And it starts out kind of like a high school relationship where they're pushing each other away, but they don't want to be, and they're struggling on the communications type front. And so it's still a little rocky, but it has its good moments. Abercrombie does a really good job not getting too wrapped up in the romance type stuff, but there's enough there to appease all audiences, I'll say. Master Hoonan is back. He pulls a fast one at the beginning. I won't get into that, but I really hate that guy. I hope he gets his up and comings, because it's not that he's still the master of arms for King Uthal and Getland, but he's way past his prime. He's a crudgy old guy that is just stuck in his ways, and he's just a jerk. At the beginning, there's a training incident, and I blame him for it, which kind of catapults where Thorn's going in her direction, along with Brand. And so you kind of learn about that as things unwind. Rolf is back, the old guy from book 1 that Yarvi met on the Southwind when they're originally under that drunk captain, Sharda Skira. And he's back. I really liked him. He's kind of just this wise old guy. And he also has an interest in Thorn's mom, which I thought was kind of funny. You meet a couple new characters. Oda, kind of a swashbuckling Viking, quick-witted guy. You have Fror. Here's this guy that's kind of a sub-character, not a main character, but he has a legendary scar on his face, and he doesn't really like to tell how he got it, and he doesn't, and he keeps kind of playing it off, but at the end he does, and it's kind of like da-da-da. I thought that was really cool. Dostuvi, he's this really huge guy. Kind of reminds me of a Russian guy, kind of. I don't know what it is, but he's a cool one. Skirfer, she's this legendary wielder of elven magic that Father Yarvi gets to train Thorn. He can see that Thorn has the skills and is going to probably bear fruit as a fighter. And Yarvi has a plan because he is a deeply cunning man. And you hear that throughout this book as well. But she kind of like mystic wielder of elven magic. And she's this dark-skinned woman, and she teaches Thorn the art of killing. I really liked her character. Cat definitely has a lot of one-liners that have a lot of wisdom in them. Cole, who is this mischief, question-asking, wood-carving young kid who belongs to Safrit, who is this single mom that's on the boat as well. The duel at the end, oh man, it is awesome. It is definitely worth the read in and of itself. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's my review. There's a lot to unpack. Again, this is another 360 page book. A lot happens here. The ending was great. Last 100 pages were fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this. A lot of fighting, great fight scenes. Abercrombie does a great job writing fight scenes. Really does. I had some moments where I was laughing. There's some great excerpts. I really enjoyed this. This was Half the World by Joe Abercrombie. Is a 4.5. I've already started book 3. Spoilers there. I'm definitely binging through this trilogy. I really enjoyed the reread. So that's my review. Half the World, Joe Abercrombie, 4.5 out of 5. Hope you're having a great evening, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.